Hi everyone, today we are going to have a look at two different styles of writing code. One is called imperative and the second one is called declarative. Almost all major languages support the declarative style of writing code, and the imperative is supported by all the languages. And I'm going to make use of C# to give you a demonstration of both the styles. Before the demo, let's get to know that what exactly these two terms mean. When you write your code in such a way that you're telling the computer how to get what you want, that is called imperative style of writing code. But when you're simply telling your computer what you want and not how to do it, that is called declarative style of writing code. There are several advantages that declarative style brings with it. One of them is it's less error prone, it avoids mutation, it's easier to reason about, maintain and understand. And the last thing is that it may seem slow based on how it's structured, but it's actually not slow. It's equally efficient to its imperative counterpart, and we're going to have a look at this in detail. Now, the first 3 points, we're going to understand them once we start writing code. Let's take a dummy problem. The problem statement is that given a list of integers, we want to find the sum of double of first 3 even numbers that are greater than 4. Right. So the output in this case would be these are the numbers that are greater than 4, and the even numbers are 4, 6, 8 and 10. We want only the starting 3. That leaves us with 6, 8 and 10. So 6 plus 8 plus 10 is 24, and the double of 24 is 48. So that is what we want from this list. First we'll have a look at how to write this, how to solve this problem using imperative style of code. So we definitely need a for loop or a for each loop to iterate over the list, and for each iteration we are going to check if the number that is currently being iterated is even and greater than 4 at the same time. If that is the case, we are going to increment the result by that number. Result is here, not actually by that number, but by the double of that number. We multiply the number with 2, and we also increment the count here so that we can keep a track of how many numbers have been added till now. And we use this count variable here, which says that if count is equal to 3, that means 3 numbers have already been added. If that is the case, then break out of this for loop and simply return the result. This is imperative style of writing code. Now, as we saw, we'll come to these advantages later. First, let's have a look at the declarative style of code as well. In declarative style, we take the list of integers and we use this. So these methods come from LINQ, that is language integrated query. And what where does is that it takes a lambda expression, and for each element n in the list, keep only those elements which are even and which are greater than 4. Right. So this will filter the list to only the numbers which are even and greater than 4. Then we say select not the number itself but number times 2. Okay. The next thing is take 3, which means that only take the first 3 elements that that satisfy this condition, and then we are informing the computer that add these numbers, and whatever we get from this we are returning it. Right. Now it's quite obvious after having a look at both these codes that this particular piece of code is less error prone, because we are not keeping track of state for each iteration. We are not even doing the iteration ourselves, and this is something that even a non-programmer could understand. Right. It's the names are quite obvious, and here we have to keep track of state by using these 2 local variables, and we're doing a lot of mutation here. For every iteration that we're doing, we are first mutating this I variable, then we are mutating result, and we are also mutating count. So a lot of mutation is going on here, and there are a lot of good articles and videos on internet which talks about why mutation is bad. Yeah, it's easy to reason about, it's easy to maintain, and if I have not written these functions, and if I look at the codes of these functions, it is going to take me a greater amount of time to understand what it is doing, but having a look at this piece of code, it is instantly clear that what this function is doing. Right now, these are the helper methods that I created to check if the number is even or if the number is greater than 4, and this is just a variable that I created to check the performance of both the declarative and imperative code. And how am I using this? How I'm using this is, first I'm making a call to imperative code by passing the list, and whatever output I am getting, I am appending it after imperative and dumping it to the console. And for every call that is made to these two functions, the functions call list is appended with the value, and we're dumping that functions call as well. Then we are clearing that variable, and we're making a call to declarative code, and again doing the same thing with the functions call, again dumping it to the console. So let's see what we get after executing this code. As you can see, both in case of imperative and declarative, we got the correct output. And if you have a look at this dump and this dump, you can see that is even has been called for 1, is even called for 2, is greater than called for 2. So the number of times and the sequence in which these two helper methods were called is exactly same as that they were called in the declarative style. So that proves the fourth point, that the declarative style of code is equally efficient. Now, it may seem like that the entire list will have to be traversed to achieve this, but internally the LINQ methods are evaluated lazily, and that is the reason that the methods, these conditions are not checked for every element. Whenever the first 3 elements that match these conditions are found, but the LINQ terminates the execution. So that was all about this video. I hope you learned something from it. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.